More puking. This is you could really hear the puke splashing.
Yeah, this one I feel more comfortable with.
Hey. How hot do I look right now?
Be me to be fixing some kind of computer and then puking in the middle.
Really proves how much Ellie loves Dina, because going up to someone that just puked and getting close to them, that's a lot.
I mean, to be fair, she did stay up all night tracking the radio stuff.
I know, but she also puked.
Like, listen, if I had to date one, I think Dina.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
I would steer clear of Ellie.
Maybe Tommy got to him. Maybe. What about her?
There's this moment, again, we don't, Ellie doesn't, just, there's a moment where she looks to Dina and then she realizes, like, how much Dina's been doing.
The numbers.
You could see the appreciation in her face.
The TV station.
I remember this because I felt so bad. Because the way you were just playing it, you were just so sick, but you were like, I feel like I need to pull my weight. Since I had called you a burden, and I felt like such a piece of shit.
This move right here of, like, scooting in and this back rub thing is such an Ashley move.
Well, it's also because we couldn't get too close because when we'd stick together, otherwise she would have held me.
Yeah.
Look. Last night was stupid.
Casualties reported in 14. All available units report. Over. This is Site 13. Unit Lima nearby. How many scars you got? Over. Negative on scars. Lone male trespasser. Armed.
Lone male trespasser.
And then this was, again, we wanted to leave Dina behind because we wanted this Ellie by herself, just these really lonely pursuits. And I felt like it was really hard to justify how we're going to pull it off. But I felt like this scene does a good job of, it shows Dina tries. Like, even if she feels like shit, she wants to be there to help Ellie.
Okay.
In The Last of Us, there's a lot of totems that come to represent certain people, whether it's Joel's watch, Ellie's switchblade, the guitar that's shared between Ellie and Joel. And now it becomes this bracelet that Dina gives Ellie as a good luck charm. It's like this khamsa, which is a very Middle Eastern thing that was very much in my family. Yeah, I love that. I love that she gives it to her for.
Wait.
It will keep her safe. It's a khamsa and an evil eye within it.
It's for good luck. I don't believe in luck.
Did we ever establish how Dina got that? Whether that was from her sister?
I think it was from her sister, but...
Yeah, that's what's in my mind, but I don't know if we ever explicitly say that. There's a lot of, like, foreshadowing here, too, of, like, the splitting up, and then later the splitting up at the farm. Oh, this is the scene that everybody hates us for.
The great mislead.
The great mislead. Yep.
I guess maybe we should talk about that. When we released that first trailer for the game, a lot of people guessed that Joel was dead. And we were worried that after that point, it'll be too obvious. So how can we throw them off the scent? And that's when we came up with the idea of swapping Joel and Jesse here, which I have mixed feelings about in hindsight. It got people excited about something that wasn't there. And, our motivation was in the right place of trying to protect the story, but didn't maybe think it through of how it might upset some people.
I remember when that trailer came out, then everybody I knew assumed that then it meant I was going to die.
Right.
And
which then we just leaned into with other trailers.
Yeah. And everybody was like texting me being like, oh my God, you die. Like, and they were like, it's so embarrassing for you. I was like, what? Wait, I can't say anything. And I was just like, lol.
You didn't come along.
LOL. Haha. Meanwhile, I think when the trailer came out, we were in the studio that day. We were doing VO, and so we were like watching all the, and I was like,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
I also like that we get to establish, Jesse's in charge, but we never get to see why. Why is this guy so good at what he does? And now we get to see it and get to experience it in gameplay.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then The Last of Us, unlike Uncharted, we don't rely as much on set pieces, especially big stuff like this, but this was such a climactic level that we called Rescue Jesse, that we wanted this climactic driving sequence where they crash in the water.
Okay.
And then there was a lot of debate of like design-wise, do we want to walk all the way back to the theater? So decided against it. So this was just to set the tone that Ellie and Jesse got away. They are not being actively chased. And this is just a little trick that we do is pull the camera away from them, and then that will allow us to cut to where we need to place them. Also an interesting dynamic that we talked a lot about, this triangle between Ellie, Jesse, and Dina. And the thing we really didn't want to do is any sort of jealousy about are Dina and Jesse going to get back together. Like it was never about that.
Oh my god.
But it was just more Ellie feels isolated.
You okay?
And in some ways, I'm curious to hear what you think, Ashley, but I think she kind of wants to be. She doesn't want to be part of this reunion, and
Yeah.
she just wants to dwell on what's next.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel like I was trying to play it, because I can relate to that. When you're like going through something and you're like, I don't want to go through this with anybody else because it's going to be dark. So I'm just going to do it myself.
I heard you're sick.
That sequence takes us to one of the flashbacks. There's a whole history with Joel and how Ellie feels about Joel and what Joel did in the hospital, and she doesn't let Dina into any of that. This is just their own personal thing that she's carrying, and she's still wrestling with that after his death.
Ellie is very not great at talking about her feelings, which I think is why she's on this mission, because she's not using her words.
That's very much a parallel to the first game where after the David sequence and Ellie's lost in thought, and then it's like Joel saying, Ellie. I think Ellie has like some OCD thing where she gets fixated on things and just shuts the world out. I love how funny Jeffrey is in this scene.
Mm-hmm. He's such a yenta.
Yeah.
Y'all shooting out there, right?
Oh, just some stragglers. Ellie got to try out my scope.
This was a fun scene.
How'd you like it?
Yeah, feels good.
The two adults don't really understand what's going on, which is Ellie is like this resentment or this curiosity, whatever it is about what Joel did is growing. And this thing that she thought she could let go, she can't. And they just attribute it to like, oh, teenager. She's being a teenager.
Well, there's that music store down there. I bet they got guitar stuff.
Maybe you should just take him out for an ice cream. Maybe you guys should just hang out.
I love how he did that lane, and I love the tapping of his foot under the table.
What do you say, kiddo?
Yeah, sure, Joel, whatever.
He's so excited.
And that's our cue.
He's like, I did my job. Yeah, the engineering of this scene, it was important to show that the constant cost of having not made a cure.
Okay.
And here we have these two runaways from Jackson that have succumbed to the infection. And one more reminder for Ellie that things could have been different.
Thanks.
Yeah. But she wouldn't be here.
We're also ignoring one of my favorite exchanges in the whole game, which is realizing that Joel does not know that Ellie is gay at this point, which comes right before this.
Oh my God, that's right.
Where he just assumes there's something going on between her and Jesse, and she's
Right.
like, she's like,
please
sure,
don't-
for sure, totally.
Yeah.
It's like he sees her, but there's like a little bit of he can't quite fully see the full her.
Jackson is a wonderful place, but we got tired of hearing the stories of people suffering everywhere else. We
These
wanted
are
to
some of the
save
hardest
lives.
scenes to do, where there's just a lot of exposition and making it seem natural, like as if she's reading this note for the first time and reacting to it. And again, you two did just such a fantastic job of I always feel like I'm just watching these characters.
Love Adam and Sydney.
I love the lighting here. Just
Can't take
the
my
way
own
it's
life.
framed and silhouetted. It's so
Into the
simple.
wood. Planks. So pretty.
Only they were immune, right?
That look, it's like she's trying to egg you on to start this conversation.
Let's go get Tommy and we can get these bodies back to Jackson.
No. Let's talk about this right now.
After you took me out of the Firefly Hospital, you said there were dozens of people like me.
This is the moment he's been dreading, right? Being confronted head on again with this lie.
Yeah, that's what they told me.
I've never met another immune person before. Have you?
Small details, like we had to do different versions of the tattoo. You could see she's got it outlined. It's not filled in yet at this stage.
Do you believe that?
There's something about a child confronting their parent, the standing in their power, and how
Traveled.
trepidatious, even though like she has the conviction of her argument, right? But just how it still is a thing to stand up to your parent and see me as an adult.
Why did you pull me out of there while I was still
What he's doing here is kind of fucked up, though, because he gaslights her. He's saying is
fully.
like, you're bringing this up now next to these bodies, and he's making her feel shame for having just brought up this topic.
Right.
Maybe if you just would have given them more time, they could have figured something out.
There was no cure.
That is what I've been telling myself.
There's nothing that could help these people or anybody
Like,
else.
how many times have I told myself this? Like, if she ever asks, this is what
What
I will
would I
tell
say?
her.
Yeah?
I know you wish things were different. I wish things were different. But they ain't.
And he just shuts it down.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's such great performance with very little dialogue, but you could see how it's just breaking her heart because she doesn't believe any of this.
No.
Is there something else you'd like to rehash?
No, because you'll just lie about it.
Yeah, that to me is the greatest sin.
And the way you're delivering that no, it's like there's a challenge to him. Like, okay, if that's what you want to say, then we'll go with that.
Yeah, because it's just like, no, I don't want to rehash anything else because you're just not going to tell the fucking truth again.
I gave you a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ending images.
Hmm.
Oh, I like your action here, Shannon, which is use your teeth to cut the thread.
Yes, same.
Did I do that?
You did.
Hmm?
Yeah.
That adds up.
There's so much survivalist intimacy in this game.
He's a good guy. Why didn't you tell him?
There's so much you could read out of those faces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
What about this? Anything worthwhile?
And there's that fucking map
Yeah, this
again.
is this is where the conflict starts to bubble back up between these two.
It makes it so much more sad because it's like, just stick with Dina. Look how you have love and care.
It's so interesting because it's what The Last of Us is about. It's like
Yeah.
within this room right now, you have like two kinds of love. There's this very positive one with Dina, and this kind of negative one of like, I gotta get the people that hurt the person I love, Joel.
Wait, you're gonna go now?
Yeah.
And where now the negative one is trumping the positive one.
Just wait for Jesse to rest up.
She could be gone by then.
She's got to make the lamb stop screaming, you know?
We know her location.
And she's using Tommy as an excuse in a very minor way now, and a much more significant way later. And it's funny. It's like all these people, like Maria, Tommy, and now Dina realize I can't convince her otherwise. She's just gonna go do it. So all I could do is support her.
Well, it's a diction narrative,
Yeah.
right? It's like
come help me with the
you
door, please?
you have to wait until
And
they
it's-
bottom out.
And it's the foreshadowing that eventually Dina says, I can't do it anymore. Oh, Hotline Miami. Or as this lady is so famously known as Vita Girl.
Oh, yeah, because she's got her PS Vita.
Name Nora. Sure, yeah.
And yeah, this scene was already kind of like laying out hints that
We're in the hospital.
even if Ellie's trying to avoid violence, it's going to find her. Right? So she doesn't mean to kill this person.
You gotta respect her efficiency, though.
I mean,
One shot.
one shot wonder.
Mm-hmm. No looking back either. Straight to gameplay.
Oh yeah, this.
Don't scream.
I mean, Nora's
Put that shit down.
pretty smart in this scene.
Yeah.
Is that she knows she needs to get under Ellie's skin to just rattle her so she could get away.
You remember me?
But she still doesn't know who Ellie is until the next scene.
You remember me.
What do you want?
Abby was here earlier. Where'd she go?
I love all these scenes where like Ellie's trying to be like Joel. She's trying to interrogate
Yeah.
people the way Joel would, and there's always something a little off about it.
Be dead.
Yeah. I mean, it's also
Think about letting you go.
sometimes I feel like
Could have killed.
we can forget that she's only 19.
Right.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to hurt anybody unnecessary.
Fuck out of
Yeah.
Jackson.
But just going on this journey is like you're not going to be able to help it.
Yeah, I feel like each time
You still hear his screams?
she kills somebody, it's not as easy as it was kind of for Joel. Because each death feels like it's leaves something with her.
Yeah. Yeah, that little bitch got what he deserved.
These little opportunities where we wanted Ellie to use her superpower, which is her immunity, to get out of these like precarious situations. I remember the establishing of the geography was tricky here, and like how do we separate these two characters?
Yeah. How do you spot the goal?
Right. There's this progression that with each one of these like revenge kills, we wanted Ellie to lose more and more of her humanity in a way that she doesn't even understand what is happening to her. So you could see a lot of this, and again, I love how you play this, which is you're amping yourself up. You kind of know what you're going to have to do here. And having the willpower, again, to hurt someone to such a degree.
Yeah, there's a bit of a trying to stall a little bit. Like maybe there's some other way out of this.
There are no fireflies anymore.
Where's Abby?
Yeah, now we're at a point where she thinks all she needs is Abby to feel better about the whole thing.
And that's where it feels like you
Because I can make it quick.
you can feel that she's still a kid because she's looking for this thing to try to fix it, and that's not it.
It's interesting to think about the scene from Nora's perspective, which is like how much she's willing to sacrifice to try to help her friend. She's bracing herself because she knows what's coming.
Knows.
Like, Nora's a pretty commendable character from the other side.
And it was important to just add this little bit of interactivity to make the player complicit in this. There's a parallel of an image there when Ellie goes to enter Joel's house, her hand shakes, and then she grabs the handle, and now her hand is shaking from the violence she's committed against Nora. And it just shows that as much as she wants to be like Joel, she's not Joel. I think Joel could disassociate more, just remove himself from the impact that his violence has in a way that Ellie cannot.
Ellie doesn't have as much practice with it.
She also has, I think, more empathy.
I think so.
I also think she needs it more than he did. I think for Joel, killing is practical, and for Ellie, it's emotional.
Right. We see Joel in the first game tortures a couple of guys, and he just moves on. And then Ellie just did it, and it will forever change her.
Yeah, that's not something you can take back.
The torturing we've seen of Joel's has always been toward a productive purpose, right? It's to help or to save or to learn in a way to be a protector. And Ellie is just a destroyer.
Love this performance. This is a very expensive part of the game, by the way. One of the things in live action is you get for free is putting a shirt on or taking it off. In a CG world or in video games, it's extremely expensive and hard. And we had to write in this whole physics simulation on this shot, this right here. This is so tricky to pull off. We're seeing it at the same time that Dina is seeing it. Like, look how beat up she is. Look how much she's already gone through.
Often when you play video games, your character or any of the characters in the game are impervious, right? They live or they die. It's pretty binary. And this allowing us to show the wear and tear on her body and allowing the violence to have an impact, not just emotionally, but also visibly, again, humanizes all of the characters in this game.
There's so much happening there with almost no dialogue.
That scene is tough. Like, taking her shirt off and exposing her and her grief there, because it's not just about what she did, you know? Like, there's so much grief, and she hasn't expressed anything yet, right? Like, it's the first time you really see it, and so there's this urge to, like, care for that, but then also that anxiety of, like, I'm losing this person.
Right.
It's really painful to even watch and, like, talk about. Like, it's really heavy. It's just such a universal theme there.